Would you mind sharing with us, Doctor, what actually happened on the 25th?
So, to be honest, this was one of the many examples that I or my colleagues have encountered throughout the past year. That particular day, I decided to share it because I was extremely tired and frustrated.
Hi, Doctor. How are you doing today?
Hi, Dee. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great today. Okay, so Doctor, maybe before we begin, we would like to know a little bit about yourself. Do you mind briefly introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Tasha and I'm from KL. After medical school, I spent a little time at Starship Children's Hospital in Auckland. And it was there that I found my passion for treating children. So I came back to Malaysia. I've done my housemanship in Hospital Sungai Buloh, floated a little while in Hospital Tunku Aziza, and now I'm at Hospital Malacca.
I would like to, highlight your Instagram post dated 25th of May. As a normal citizen, I feel like it's really not fair that our rakyat, our people are doing such a thing to our frontliners who are working so hard to flatten the curve. So would you mind sharing with us, Doctor, what actually happened on the 25th?
So, to be honest, this was one of the many examples that I or my colleagues have encountered throughout the past year. That particular day, I decided to share it because I was extremely tired and frustrated. And on that particular day, it was a very busy call. There were a lot of unstable little humans. I'm a pediatric doctor, so I focus on little kids. At about 3 a.m., I received a call saying that there was this lady in labor and she's a COVID positive patient, and that they would require the pediatric team, which was myself and my team, to stand by to help check on the baby once the baby is delivered. And when I got the case and we inquired a little further, what really upsetted me was we found out that this lady that was pregnant and due to deliver had gone visiting, and she probably contracted COVID from one of her unwell relatives. So that was a little disappointing, because I think what many people fail to realize is when a pregnant woman has COVID, her entire delivery experience changes. It's a lot more tougher for both her and her child. And we were thinking, even if you could not think about the frontliners or your other relatives, we wish she had thought about her unborn child before not following SOP and actually going out during MCO. So what happens when a COVID positive lady gives birth is the baby is then usually separated from the mother for us to make sure the baby is doing okay and for us to run a COVID test on the baby as well. So I think all this is really an unnecessary amount of duress that can be completely avoided if she had followed SOP. Yeah.
As a normal citizen, it's really upsetting, to see that some of us are, going all out to follow the SOP. Some of us still, not obeying to the SOP. We want to hear what's the biggest upset for frontliners like you in seeing this kind of carelessness in our Malaysian.
What really upsets us is regardless of how many patients we treat or how hard we work, we are not going to get things under control if the public or the rakyat doesn't help us. The government can only introduce certain measures and we can only do our jobs, but we need the rakyat's help to actually follow through and execute the necessary measures so that we can actually curb this thing together. If, like what you said, if people are going to find loopholes, illegally cross borders, secretly throw parties, basically not wear their mask properly and not maintain their distance, all our efforts are in vain. To begin with, it is already both physically and mentally challenging on not only me, my colleagues as well. Recently, you might have come across news that said there was a nurse that I think passed away last week, 27 years old, and she was pregnant with a 7-month baby. And just a couple of days ago, another 26-year-old nurse passed away. And one by one, a lot of our own people, a lot of the frontliners, they are succumbing to the illness. I think it would mean everything if people can help us just do their part so we can all actually overcome the situation together. To be fair, especially after the post, I actually received a lot of messages from a lot of people saying that they have been following SOP. A lot of people actually took the time and effort to type out really lengthy posts about how their experience has been, how they've been staying at home with their kids, how they've been closing their businesses at a loss just to help us. So I have to acknowledge the positive side as well. There are really people who are trying hard, but we need everybody's help.
According to you, right, what would you suggest for Malaysian out there who are having kids and also Malaysian out there, who are pregnant?
It's really not easy to protect those kids at the same time, keep them entertained during MCO. Pertaining to kids, very simple but straightforward measures would be, at present, do not take your kids outside. I think the government sort of released a memo saying that you're not allowed to take kids less than 12 years old outside unless it's an emergency. And if you have to go out for an emergency, for example, a medical appointment or something of that sort, make sure you put on a mask for them if they're older than 2 years old. Make sure you keep distance from other people. And once you keep sanitizing their hands, and once you take them back, give them a shower right away. For kids, if you keep them home and you don't let people come to your home, it's fairly safe. You can keep them protected. Pregnant women, pretty much same thing. I think it's an Asian culture. A lot of people visit pregnant women. We tend to go visit them to bless them, to share their joy. It's going to be challenging, but I think the family needs to share and say that in view of COVID, we don't know who is positive or not. So until we get a proper handle on this, avoid visitors. Do not allow visitors to come to your house. One very important thing for kids. So Malaysia hasn't authorized vaccination for kids yet, which means the adults, we are responsible for them. We have to get vaccinated. If we don't get vaccinated, we will probably contract the virus and pass it to them. So if your parents are watching this, please get vaccinated. If not for yourself, at least to protect your kids.
During this pandemic period, what are the, maybe you can pinpoint few, craziest work hour that you've had?
You might start working at 7:30 a.m. right up to noon the next day without a break. So that's been pretty crazy. I've had a couple of shifts like that. On COVID duty, at times we've had 5 or 6, maybe even 7 showers a day because we visit COVID patients in different cubicles. So in between cubicles, you'd wear your PPE suit, you'd see a patient, you'd come out, you'd shower. Your hair wouldn't be dry, but you'd have to go in and see the next patient. You wear back the suit. It's not very easy, let me put it that way. It takes a toll on your overall well-being. But we're happy to do it. It's our duty.
As a frontliner, we want to hear from you when you see that the capacity is being at 100%, right? What you would like to emphasize on that? Your take on it.
So, when every day KKM releases this one picture with 4 squares, you have the number of cases. But if you ask me, everyone should be focusing on the number of patients on ventilator support and the number of patients that need ICU backup, because that has been steadily rising from 200 to 300 to 400. I think now we're at 800, 900. These patients are critical. What this also means is we're not talking about COVID alone. For example, if your family member or your parents or your loved one needs an operation for any other illness, not COVID related, and because the ICU is filled with COVID, their operation might get postponed because there's no bed. So a lot of people don't realize the domino effect that happens.
What's that one thing that keep you going, or maybe you can share that's something that common in all the frontliners, your colleagues, that one thing that keep every frontliners going?
The one thing that keeps us going is we know Malaysians can flatten the curve because we've done this before. So we have some hope to hold on to, and we feel that they can, or we can all do it again. I mean, I completely understand everyone is numb, everyone is tired. This has been going on for way too long, 1 year of sort of isolation for a lot of people. But like we discussed, I think this is the most critical time to do our part. How I keep going is every time I'm treating a patient, I think about my own family and friends. And I feel that if I don't work hard enough, if I don't treat a patient fast enough, there's so many mutated strains that the disease is going to spread faster and to more people. And that's really scary, because if the spread continues, eventually it's going to affect someone in my inner circle or someone in your inner circle, and we wouldn't want that to happen.
The one thing that frontliners are holding on to is the fate on our Malaysians itself, right?
Yes, definitely. There was, I couldn't have put it better.
What are things that you want to emphasize to Malaysian in general, about this situation, about this pandemic?
To those who haven't gone on MySejahtera and registered, there is no point waiting. If you want things to get better, you got to play your part as well.
But we can't deny that there's also a small group of people who, are still having this doubt on the effect and, going against the idea of, getting vaccinated. You want to say something on this?
Yeah, you're right. There's a small group of people who don't want to get vaccinated. There's a lot of fear involved here. But what's going to happen is you won't suffer very serious effects and you won't probably die from the illness. You might get COVID, you might have it for a week or two, and you might be okay. So all three vaccines we have, does 100% job at reducing severe effects, reducing hospitalization, and also, obviously, preventing death. Any vaccine is better than no vaccine.
For all the frontliners out there, we Malaysian really got your back. We're trying our best as well. We hope that we can be more as a one unit in helping our frontliners. And thank you so much for frontliners who are also battling with their own problems in terms of being physically fit and also mentally healthy.
So thank you so much for today's session, and I hope you all managed to gain something from it. Let's overcome this together. Stay tuned with Chili Sauce. Current issues tambah pedas.